In this video, I'll go through the Year 7 Statistics Test preview. I'll put some time tags in the description below so you can skip to question numbers if you're following along on the test preview sheet. Otherwise, I'll put a quick description of what each question's about so you can get some help with particular sorts of questions.
So what's the average or the mean? They both mean the same thing. We often hear people talking about the average age, maybe the average salary or wage, or the average number of children in a family. What it technically is it's a way of us describing the central tendency, but what that means is sort of like the middle score, what's normal. But that we calculate it by adding all the scores together and then dividing that total by how many scores we have. But that doesn't really describe what the mean tells us. What the mean tells us is equal distribution, okay? So the mean describes equal distribution. And what that means is that it assumes everything is shared equally, okay? So let's take an example. Imagine we've got 5 students. And all of them have some chocolate. The first student might have 3 pieces, the second student might have 4, the next one might have 2, the next one might have 2, and the last one might say have 4 as well. Now, if we were going to work out the average number of pieces of chocolate that each student had, what we would be doing is assuming that they all had the same amount. Okay, so when we do this mathematically, what we do is we add all the scores up. So we've got 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 4, and then we have to divide that total by 5 because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Okay. Now if we add all of these up, we'll get 15, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. So the average is 3. Now that's how we do it mathematically. When we're describing equal distribution, this is why the mean works. What we do is we take all their pieces of chocolate and we group them all together. So we've got 15 pieces of chocolate all together. And then this part of the equation, the divide by 5, means to share them out equally. And we'll deal them out like cards. One for you, one for you, one for you, one for you, one for you. And what we do is we keep sharing them equally until all of our chocolates are exhausted. And so we can see that each person received 3 chocolates. So the mean is 3. Now that we've had a chat about the mean, I want to have a little bit of a chat about why we might not use the mean. The mean or the average is definitely what we see used most commonly, and it's fantastic. It gives us a really good snapshot when we're looking at statistics, especially for things like weather and that sort of thing, like the average temperature of each day in the month might have been and that sort of thing. So the monthly temperature averages, rainfall averages and that sort of thing. But it doesn't always work. It's not always the best measure. Okay, so let's assume that we took the average height of our class and you include me in the height. Now, some of you guys are pretty tall. In fact, some of you are taller than me. So I'm probably, represented up here if we arranged ourselves from our shortest student through to our tallest. And if we took an average of the height of our class, including me in your data isn't really going to have a very significant impact on what the average height of you guys is. Okay, we're still going to find that the average is a little taller than the shortest person and a little shorter than the tallest person, but overall I'm not going to raise it very much. However, if we were talking about me teaching a prep class and we arranged the students from the shortest through to the tallest, and you included me in the data, then I am going to have a very significant impact on what the mean height of the class is, okay? We'll just mark these in. So if someone asked what the average height of this poor class in prep was, and it turned out that they were, 1.5 meters because of me, they would all seem quite unusually tall. So this would be a poor measure. What we'd choose to use instead is one of the other tools that we've got, either the mode or the median, okay? So in this case, I would suggest the median would be a great choice, because I'm what you call a statistical outlier. Now, if you use the median, remember that that's the middle score if everything's arranged from shortest through to tallest. So this person here represents the median score, and that would be a much more realistic representation of what the height of one of our students might be, okay? In some other instances, the mode would be useful as well. Okay, so the mode is the score that happens most frequently, if you need to remember that, and the mode happens the most, okay. Median's quite useful though, okay. The median height here, the median is commonly used in things like house prices, so that the people who are in extremely expensive houses in few numbers don't make the average Australian house price appear to be higher than what it is. So you've got these other tools to use as well. And the range is fantastic. The range is the highest score minus the lowest score, and that can give us a lot of good information about our data as well, especially when you're doing statistical analysis in science. Question 1a is asking us to find the range of the following sets of numbers. Now, in these questions, if I was being asked for more than the range, in other words, I'd been asked for the mean, the median, and the mode as well, what I would do first is I'd go through and rewrite these in order from the smallest number through to the highest number. But because I'm only trying to find the range, all I need to do is find the biggest number, which in this case might be 20, and the smallest number, which if I scan through is number 4. So the range is calculated by taking the largest number 20 and subtracting 4, which gives us the answer 16. So we have a range of 16. In question 1b, I'm being asked to find the range. So I'm scanning through the numbers and finding the largest number, which in this case is 9. There are 2 of them, but that doesn't matter. And then I'm trying to find the smallest number. 2's looking good so far, so that will be 2. So what we'll do is the difference between the largest score and the smallest score, or the lowest score, and that will be 7. So we have a range of 7. In question 2a, we're trying to find the mean or the average of these sets of numbers, okay? So what we need to do is we need to add all of these scores up and then divide them by how many numbers or how many scores there are. So we say it will be 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 8 plus 3 plus 5 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5. All divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which will give us 36 over 9, and 36 divided by 9 is 4. Not forgetting that this is just another way of writing 36 divided by 9, okay? In question 2b, we're trying to find the mean. So we need to add all of these numbers up and divide them by how many scores there are. So we've got 8 plus 2 plus 14 plus 38 plus 26 plus 14 plus 23 plus 22 plus 7, all divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which will give us 154 divided by 9, which is 17.11. If you're not sure about the mean, just skip back a couple of slides and I explain what the mean is there. Question 3a is asking us this time to find the mode. Now, the mode is the score that happens the most frequently, or the mode happens the most. If I was going to look for the mean and the range and the median as well, I would definitely rewrite these in order. I'd write them from smallest to biggest because the mode's really easy to pick then, because all these numbers are just stacked up next to each other. But because I'm not, I'll just go through and see if I can find the number that happens the most times. And 4 seems to be jumping out at me. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll just check the others. And all of those happen less frequently than 4. So that means that we have a mode of 4. Question 3b is also looking for the mode. So I'm looking for the score that happens most frequently. So as I duck through these, I'm just having a look. 8 happens twice, so we might make a little mark next to them. And 17 happens twice as well. Have we got any? We don't have any scores that happen 2 or more times. Now, in question 3a, there was only one mode, okay? You can actually have 2 modes, and what we do is we call this bimodal, okay? And that means that we've got scores of both 8 and 17. Now, you're allowed to have up to 2 modes, okay? It's the one that happens the most. If 2 scores happen the most and it's the same number of times that they happen, then you can have a score that is bimodal. But as soon as you reach 3 modes, the answer to this question would have been no mode, okay? So you can only have up to 2 modes. Question 4a is asking us to find the median of these numbers. Now, to find the median, what we need to do is arrange them from the smallest number through to the largest number. And we're looking for the middle score. Okay, I talked a bit about this in the 3rd slide if you need to go back and have a look at it. So what I do is when I'm writing them out in order so that I don't make a mistake, I cross them off. Okay, and I write them underneath these ones so that they line up, and that way I hopefully won't make any mistakes here. You can see another 2 there. 3. Oops. And a 4, and a 5, and a 7, and an 8, and a 9. Now I just want to make sure I haven't made a mistake here, which I think I have. Look, I've missed a 7 here. So the way that you can double check that is you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this is how you can pick up your error. So we're going to squeeze another 7 in here so that we've got them all in order. Now I'm looking for the middle score. So if I have 11 scores altogether, I'm going to go looking for the 6th score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which will be 4. Okay, I'm just going to make a little mark here. The other way to work out where the middle score is, if you've got lots, is to just start lightly crossing them out. One end, one end, one end, one end, one end, one end, until you work your way into the middle score. Okay, so here it's quite clear that the median is 4. Question 4b looks for the median as well in these numbers. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to arrange them from smallest to largest. So I'm scanning through the numbers looking for the smallest, it's 14. Then I'm going for the next one, which looks like it will be 17, 19, 25, 26, 27, 38, and 38. Now, again, making sure I didn't make a mistake, because I picked my mistake up in the last question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we're going to work our way back to the middle score by crossing off one end at a time until we get ourselves into the middle. Interesting, this time we have got 2 middle scores. Over in question 4a, we had an odd number of scores, okay? There were 11 scores altogether. But over here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have an even number of scores. Now, you can't have 2 medians. It's not like the mode. What you need to do is you need to find exactly halfway between these numbers. Now, most of you will be able to tell me that halfway between 25 and 26 is 25 and a half. But if you're dealing with decimals or difficult to calculate numbers, the best way to find halfway between 2 numbers is to actually average them. So we say 25 plus 26 divided by 2 equals 25 and a half. So the median's 25 and a half. Question 5 is a little bit different. This time they're asking you to work out an unknown number if they give you what the mean or the average is, okay? So they're telling you that the average of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers will be added up and divided by 6 to equal 7. And you're going to need to work backwards to work out what this unknown number is, okay? So what this question is really saying is, if I say 6 plus 8 plus 11 plus 5 plus 4 plus my unknown, I don't want to put a blank box in. Because I'm a maths teacher, I'm going to use an X, because you'll all be doing that by the end of the year. So I've got my 5 numbers and my 6th one that I don't know. If I divided all of that by 6, because there's 6 numbers here, that would give me an average of 7. Now, later on we're going to learn how to use the balance method. And that means that you guys will be able to use that to answer this, but you haven't learned that yet. So we have to think about this a different way. This makes it too complicated. So if I just make this number 6 times bigger, then I don't need to worry about dividing by 6. So really what I've got now is my scores that I know equaling 42. Okay. Now, let's add all of these up, because this number here, all of these, plus my unknown has to be 42. So if I add those, I'll get 34. So I know that 34 plus that cheeky number that I don't know yet will be 42. Now I still don't want to do this because you don't know how to do the balance method, but I know that that number will just be the total amount, 42 minus 34. So let's just get rid of it and bring it over here. And that means that my unknown, x, is just going to be 42 minus 34. So x is 8.
Question 6 asks us for a number of, or gives us another examples, and we need to decide whether the data is discrete, categorical, continuous, or numerical. The first one is shoe sizes of each student are recorded. That information is discrete because there is only a certain number of, or a certain number of shoe sizes available. Okay, so it's a discrete piece of data. It's not categorical, it's not continuous because it's not going to change, and it's numerical because shoes are measured in sizes, which are numbers. The weight of each baby is measured and recorded at birth. Well, we can grow over time, so it's continuous, okay, and it's also numerical because our height's measured in numbers, but this information is not discrete and it is not categorical. The next one we've got, in a survey, each respondent is asked their favourite superhero. We're asking individuals, so it's discrete. And superheroes aren't numerical, so they can be dropped into categories, making them categorical, not continuous or numerical. And similarly, to determine options classes, student preferences are recorded. We're asking individuals, and we're asking them for their favourite subject, which is categorical. There's no numbers. Question 7 is asking us to create a stem and leaf plot. Importantly, it's an ordered stem and leaf plot. So what we're going to do is set one of those up below. And the way that you do that is that you scan through your information that you've got here. So I'm going through all of these numbers that I'm highlighting here. And what I'm looking for is the tens, basically. So I can see here that I've got 5, and that's going to go all the way through to the 40s, and the highest number is 44. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line down like this, and I'm going to arrange my tens over on the left. So I've got 0s, 10s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. And then what I'm going to go through and do is I'm going to, as I find these numbers, I'm going to strike them off and I'm going to add them to my stem and leaf plot. The next one is 13, the next one is 18. And you'll notice how the 10s stay over here on the left, okay, and the 1s get put over here on the right in order. I'm just going to pause the video while I finish this. Okay, and you might notice that what I've done is I've struck off the numbers as I've put them into my stem and leaf plot. I've also counted the total number of pieces of data that I've got along the top, and that is 24. And I've double checked by counting how many I've put into my stem and leaf plot as well, so I haven't accidentally forgotten any. And now what I want to do is I want to start having a look for the range, the mode, and the median. So the range is nice and easy. It's the largest number, which is this one, 44. Take away the smallest number, which is this one, 5. So this one is, this one is 44 minus 5. So my range is 39. Next, I'm asked to find my mode. The mode is the score that happens with the highest frequency, or the mode happens the most. And I can see here that that one is 31, because there's lots of 31s there. So that one will be 31. And last of all, my median score, which is my middle score, now that I've arranged them all from smallest to largest, can be calculated by the n value plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, so that is 24 plus 1 divided by 2. And because the answer to that is 12.5, I know that it will be my 12th and 13th score. Now I have to actually go and find what that is. So you go through and you count them. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it will be the 12th and 13th score. That means that my median is going to be 28 plus 30 divided by 2, because I need to find halfway between the 28th and 30th score. So the answer is 29. Now it's fairly easy, I know, halfway between 28 and 30, but sometimes you'll get decimals or numbers that are really difficult to work out. So if you see the 28th and 30th score, you can just skip straight to the answer. If not, you can use that formula to help you out. Question 8's a tricky question because we've got two numbers that we don't know the answer to. So what we need to do is we need to go hunting up in the question to see if it'll give us any clues. It tells me that the median score is 5. So we'll keep that little piece of information. And then the next thing is that the mode is 4. And the next bit is that the range is 9. So what we need to do is we need to come up with at least one of the numbers. Now, I'm concentrating here on the mode. I can see that if the mode is 4, the 4 must happen more times than the others. And at the moment, there's only one 4, just like the rest of the numbers. So I bet one of these numbers is a 4. Now, I've only got a couple of other clues here. I've got that the range is 9, and I've also got an idea that the median's 5. If I arrange these scores as they are at the moment, then they'd go something like this: 4, 4, 5, 7, 11, and 12. And so at the moment, the median is about here, isn't it? And I know that the median is supposed to be 5, but at the moment it's 6. So I need all these numbers, if it makes sense, to shuffle this way a little bit, okay? So in other words, I need another number down here somewhere. Now, I'm also having a bit of a look at the range, and it tells me that the range is 9. At the moment, if I test the range, I can see that 12 minus 4, the largest minus the smallest, is only 8. So if I pop a 3 down here, and we'll use guess and check, we'll see what happens. I'll rub out a little bit of this stuff that's all gotten in the way now. My new median score is the middle score, and I can see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. So my new median is this number, if I've done this, which becomes 5. Great, so I've got the median score checked off, and I'll double check the range. It's now 12 minus 3, which is 9. Great, that number's checked off as well, so I know that my other missing number here must be 3.